Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 6 o'clock on Saturday the 26th of March. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land, and it's a nice morning. A little bit cool, but nothing dramatic. Sun is trying to peek out from behind those trees. If it's anything like yesterday, we should have quite a nice day today. It got actually quite warm in the afternoon yesterday, so looking forward to that. I'll not be too cold this morning. I've got quite a bit of manual labour to be done. Oh, farmers are moving around early this morning. You can hear that on the road there. I'm sure you can, because you can hear everything on the road there. Every time I'm down here. Anyway, a few bits and pieces to talk about today, in the midst trying to get some work done. It's been a long week this week. Busy following up from the house move and trying to get myself some kind of organisation in my temporary accommodation. But let me get opened up and we'll have a little chat about it as we go through the day. Well, first things first, as usual, sort the chickens out. And as usual, the little red ones here, pecking away. Nice to see them all content. Got lots of stuff to be doing today, so I'll not be spending too much time with them. There'll be a bit of greenery as usual, but I need to get pressed on. So we'll check the coop, get ourselves in the cabin. Well, good morning, it's the weekend. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you are staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. Been a bit of a chaotic week this week. Moved out of the house and I've been busy running around trying to organise myself and make sure that I had all of the things that I absolutely must have between now and moving into the new house. So normal clothes, work clothes, toiletries, all that kind of good boring stuff. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit chaotic for a while yet until I complete all of the legal process for the new house and actually get the keys in my hand. And then it'll be more chaos while I try to move into that. But it's all good stuff, and I can't let that detract too much, either from work or from normal day-to-day activity down here in the cabin and on the land, as we are starting to head into spring now. Certainly looking around the trees and bushes I've got in the garden room, looking at the trees on the field as I walk across. Things are starting to spring into life. So it's full steam ahead. Start playing a little bit of catch up now the Polytunnel's up, and get caught up with the planting. It's nice to see that in the comments section lots of you are actually getting on with some planting. And that really is the main theme of what I was going to talk about in the cabin chat today. The food shortages. And are you ready for them? Don't take this as a doom and gloom video or fear porn or all these other little terms that YouTubers use. It's not a clickbaity title. It's official now. There are going to be food shortages. After all of the talk over recent years, not just on my channel, but on lots of other channels, if you are well versed in YouTube, you'll know that channels such as Ice Age Farmer or Adapt 2030, and indeed loads of others, people have been talking about potential food shortages for quite a long time now, even before COVID. It's been noticeable that there have been problems around the world with food supply. A lot of that has been down to weather, at the wrong type of weather, at the wrong time in the planting or harvesting season, to create reduced crop yields globally, not just in any one specific country. There's been lots of stories over the last couple of years about pest problems. Indeed, you'll have seen last year the problems that I had with a variety of different pests, either reducing the yield off my bit of land or completely decimating the various crops. You might remember in videos from last year, I planted, I think 3 times, broccoli and cauliflower. And every time that the young seedlings started to produce decent growth, along came the rabbits or the squirrels or the birds or the slugs, whatever, and completely destroyed them. Fortunately, that wasn't the case with potatoes and carrots, but other vegetables, yeah, had loads of issues. And I wasn't alone. This wasn't a little localised problem on my little bit of land. It was a global thing. There were stories in the media about swarms of locusts destroying crops across in Africa and Asia. You had disease affecting, particularly in China, the pig production and supply chain. And then of course COVID came along, and you had massive disruption, both to the supply chain to actually get stuff from the farms and the factories to the shops, and you also had labour shortages as people were either going down with COVID and self-isolating, or whether it was because of the lockdowns that governments across the world brought in. So this isn't a new phenomenon. It's been building up and building up over the last 2 or 3 years, and we're kind of reaching a crescendo, and to such an extent that international organisations such as United Nations, World Health Organization are coming out and saying there's going to be a problem this year with food and the availability of food. And now, lo and behold, literally yesterday, President of the US came out on TV and told everybody that yes, there's going to be shortages of food this year, but it's all because of Russia and the invasion of Ukraine. Nothing to do with anything else, certainly not COVID and government lockdowns, mismanagement of the supply chain, or just not giving a damn. Nothing to do with that. It's all about what's happened over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks with Russia and Ukraine. They need that excuse as to why it's not them that's the problem, and not things that they've done that's the problem. It's somebody else's fault. There's a boogeyman over there, and it's all down to him, whatever the problem. So yeah, Mr. Biden was on TV yesterday saying that there's going to be shortages. And then just to add kind of insult to injury, as if we didn't have enough to deal with, he actually stood up and said publicly, but it's a price worth paying. In our fight for democracy and fight against the evil regime in Russia, and it's all their fault. As a part of our global fight, we should all come together, and the people should expect to suffer and be happy to suffer in the cause of freedom, democracy, and global order. It's good that I've not got that on TV right now, because you wouldn't believe the anger that I was feeling while I watched, and not just Biden, but other world leaders as well, who will in no way be affected themselves by any of this. They're not bothered that, energy prices or fuel for your vehicle has, gone up 30, 40, 50, 60% over the last year or so. And they're not bothered that inflation is at record levels and the price of everything that you need on a daily basis has gone through the roof. They're not interested. It doesn't impact them at all. They're all wealthy. They've all got access to whatever it is that they might want. They just ring somebody up and say, bring it. You don't see them queuing in the supermarket to buy the inflated bottle of milk price or the inflated loaf of bread price or the inflated portion of meat price. They're not at the petrol station filling up their car and going, oh my God, it's gone up another 5 pence a litre, or whatever that translates to in dollars, yen, rubles, euros, whatever. They're totally oblivious to the actual pain that your average person is going through right now as they try to take care of themselves and their family. And they're looking at their monthly, weekly salary and thinking, how can I afford to buy fuel for the car, to pay the electric bill, to pay the shopping bill? They have no concept at all. All of this, it's platitudes, meaningless platitudes that they trot out in the media, is scripts written by some flunky in an office somewhere who again isn't impacted by all of this. They've got their secure government job on a decent salary. They've got their expense account. It's really not frustrating, it's just downright annoying and angering to watch these people spouting all of this nonsense in the media and expecting everyone to just buy it and buy into their spin and hype and to just accept whatever it is that the government and the media are telling them to do, as we did through COVID with the mandates of lockdowns, not going to work, staying at home, not seeing friends and family, putting up with the suffering that they had to put up with all the way through the last 2 years of COVID. And it's going to continue now with something else, which is global economic chaos, global food supply chain chaos, and the massive cost of living increases. But amongst all of the things that will be in short supply and really expensive over this year and coming years, food is the number one thing, really. We can probably survive the cost of increased energy and fuel. We can cut back, we can cut down the amount of trips we make in the vehicle, we can reduce the amount of energy consumption that we have, particularly as we go into the summer months and we don't really need the heating anymore. But food, there's no avoiding that. It's something we need every day and our family members need every day. So the real message of today, in amongst the rant, and I could go on and I could get into the deep politics of it all, but I'm resisting the temptation to do that. I'm trying to be useful in what I'm saying rather than just focus on the doom stuff. The main message really is getting yourself, if you're not already prepared, getting yourself prepared for the impact of these global food shortages and global price rises. We haven't really yet seen the full effects. There is a delay in the food production chain, as most of the stuff that we eat, particularly bulk dried foods and canned foods, that's not produced last week, that's produced last year or indeed in the last few years. So it takes time to filter through the supply chain. We are definitely seeing it already in things like meat and dairy products. Those have already started to increase and increase quite markedly in the case of meat. But again, there is an agenda there. Governments are trying to get people to stop eating meat off the back of climate emergency and climate change. And again, they don't really care about me, you, the average person. They have their agenda for whatever reason. And they're just trying to drive people out of the supermarket meat aisle or dairy aisle. So what are you doing to prepare yourselves for this? In terms of availability and price, the best thing you can do, and the thing that I've constantly banged on about for the last few years now, is to build up your supplies so that you're buying at the cheaper prices of today rather than the more expensive prices of tomorrow, next week, next month, or what will be completely ridiculous prices as we head through the back end of this year and into next. And also to encourage people to produce more themselves. Regular viewers will know that I've been on a mission myself to try and build up my resilience by learning to plant more and to store more through the end of the planting season until we reach the start of the next planting season. Indeed, I've still got potatoes in the other cabin that I stored up November and December last year. So even on a small scale, it's not entirely possible, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to bull you. It does take a while to gain the experience and the knowledge and the skill to figure out how to plant succession crops to take you through the year and how to store them through the winter months until you start producing the next year. And I still don't have that completely 100% bottomed out. But I'm steadily getting there, and I'm steadily getting there before the major crisis that is coming actually hits and comes to fruition. So I'm really, the point of today is to try and encourage everybody again to have a little think about what they can do with the resources that they have at their disposal. None of us have, bank accounts full of cash that we can just throw at a problem, and most of us will not have huge amounts of space within which to grow, but everybody will have some space, and with a little bit of thinking, perhaps out of the box, maybe you can identify a bigger area if you don't have sufficient right now. Is there an allotment garden available somewhere? Is there a little piece of land you can buy? Is there some open space, wild, common land that you can go onto and do a bit of guerrilla gardening and plant something? Can you use a neighbour or a family member's garden that they don't use? There are probably lots of things you could do if you wanted to and you set your mind to it. And as I've said lots and lots of times before, even in a small space, a small garden, a small backyard, a small patio, even a balcony, it's possible to grow something. And the more you can produce yourself, the less reliant you are on the system and the less exposed you will be to the price increases that are coming down the line. I see in a lot of videos when prepper channels are talking about the apocalypse, we'll go hunting and fishing. Yes, hunting and fishing is an option. But you have to bear in mind that the more stress there is on the food supply chain, the more fragile the normal global order system is, and the more people will turn to alternatives such as hunting and fishing. And in a real grid down, something at the fan scenario, the natural resources that you see around, and you see here on my land, the pheasants, the squirrels, the pigeons, the rabbits, they're quite abundant now. In fact, they're more abundant than I want them to be because they are pests for me. But mark my words, in a real grid down scenario, or if we had another Great Depression where the economy collapsed totally and people were on the breadline, those resources would very, very quickly be depleted and eventually just eradicated. So don't rely too much on those. If that's your plan, come something hit the fans happens, don't rely on going out and hunting rabbits because they'll not be there for long. Everybody else will be doing the same. Focus instead on the kind of thing that I'm doing. Get a few chickens raised, plant some vegetables. It is the way forward as we go into these, for sure, fragile times with the global food supply system. Anyway, what are we doing today? lots on the agenda. I'm going to be, as usual, giving the chickens some greenery. It's the weekend. I'll have a quick run round, check the plants, see what's been happening over the last week. Particularly interested to see what's happening in the polytunnel. Have we got any green shoots yet in those seed trays? Have we got any more potatoes or carrots coming through? Might move the strawberries somewhere, I'm not sure yet, to make space for a bit more planting. I've got garlic and onion that needs planting out. I'll take a look at those stored potatoes, see where we are with those. And I've got some wood. So hopefully we'll make a little bit of progress today with the polytunnel door. I doubt highly I'll get that fully completed today, or indeed tomorrow. I've got other things to do away from here over the weekend. I'm away with work next week, so time is short this weekend. I'll need to do a bit of prep work for that. But wherever I am doing, I'll keep you updated as we go through the video today. And don't forget, tell me and tell everybody else what you're up to in your daily life, in your prepping journey. Pop some comments in the comment section. If there's any questions off the videos, pop those in the comment section. If I don't know the answer, I feel quite sure that somebody in the community will, because we are starting to gradually, slowly but surely, build that community. And I already know from comments in the comment section on past videos, there's quite a lot of people who are quite knowledgeable, who view the channel and do take the time to comment. So thank you very much for that. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay safe and well. Hope you enjoy your weekend, and I'll catch up with you as we go through the video. Well, it wouldn't be the weekend without some greenery, and they're having a special treat today. It's cabbage out of the garden room. So hopefully they'll enjoy that. We've got a little bit of sun peeking through the trees there, and it's starting to make its way across the northern end of the field, which is really nice, because that means it's onto the beehive. So hopefully that will stir the bees into life this morning. You can just see it's bathed in sunshine there on the hedgerow. Anyway, I need to get myself organised. I've got some planting for the raised beds. I need to get into the polytunnel. I've got some wood, so I'm going to start measuring up for the permanent door to the polytunnel, rather than that. It's not very good at all, the old zip flap method of entry. If you can see the condensation on there, it's going to be warm inside. I'll give you a little guided tour shortly. I'm just going to grab some bits out of the cabin. Well, I couldn't not take the opportunity to give the little red tractor a run. It's been a couple of weeks since it's been out, so just making sure everything's all right with that. I'll just let it run for 10 minutes or so just to warm it through, and then I'll get cracking in the polytunnel. Well, little red tractor's had its run, and I've made a quick cup of coffee. While that was running, I've just been busy at the raised beds, just clearing out the weeds, ready for planting. So they're looking quite nice now. All of this soil on the raised beds now is compost from the compost bins, and to be fair, if I put my cup of coffee down, to be fair, it's quite nice stuff. This bed here has got some garlic in that I planted late last year, so there's quite a few come through. Well, I didn't have that many bulbs to plant in there, so I've got some more which will go in today. In this other bed, I'm going to be putting those onions. I'll fill out this complete bed with onions, and then depending on how much garlic I get in this one, if I've got any onions left, I'll finish them off in this bed. The other bed, probably beetroot, if the seeds come through. These two little raised beds did have strawberries in. There are a few remnants left from last year. They were full. Oh, there you go, look, there's one there. They were full, but the rabbits over winter got in and chewed them all out. This is the raised bed, not quite sure what to put in there, probably peas to climb up this little frame. And I might repeat sweet corn in that big whiskey barrel container, or I might pull it out to join these others and put potatoes in. I don't really know yet. Polytunnel, I've got some wood in there now, you can see that, to start measuring up and framing out for the door. Sorry, I'm just slurping on my coffee. But let me put this coffee down and we'll take a little look and see what's happening in here. Carrots, those first 2 buckets I planted, coming through very well. These other 4 just starting, look, to see green shoots. Here, there's some more coming here. Don't see any in that bucket. Oh, sorry, there's one tiny one just there, look. Potatoes, we've got quite a few sprouts now. There's one there, there's one there. There was one over there, but it seems to have disappeared. But not to worry, this other bucket, we've got sprouts coming through. And this bucket, we've got sprouts coming through, some quite big sprouts there coming through. Don't see any in that one, I don't see any in that one. But this one's the true potato seed. You remember I planted seeds, grew them all into plants, got some small tubers, and then, I don't know if it was a week or 2 weeks ago, I'm losing all track of time with the house move, but look at this, we've got shoots coming through from the true potato seeds. So really pleased with that. I'm going to have to wrestle now because I can't climb over. Give me 2 seconds while I pull these trays out to one side and we'll take a little look in there. I've just pulled those carrot buckets out the way so that I can get up onto this shelf. So this tray is peas, and it looks like we've got a little shoot here, and we've got a couple of little shoots in there. This is swede. We've got one little tiny seed, or 2, sorry, there's one there coming through there. Cauliflower, we've got 1 coming through, and the beetroot, we've got 1 in this tray, 1 in this tray, and that looks like about it. So we've got some signs of life in these trays, not a lot. Oh, there's a second cauliflower there, didn't see that one. So we've got another one there. Exciting to see the green shoots coming through. Yeah, so that's that. Let me put these back. Hopefully they'll enjoy this bit of sunshine that's just starting to come through now, and we'll take a little look outside. Let's get some rows put in so we can plant these onions. Not the most exciting part of the video, but it needs doing. It's all part of the process. No great science to this. Just pop them in. Make sure they're pointing the right way up as you go along. The soil is moist, but I think we're going to need a bit of water. Well, that's the bed of onions done. looking quite nice now, and the bed of a mixture of garlic and onions, one bed spare. Well, the sun's out from behind the trees and I think it's going to start warming up. So, quick look in the polytunnel. The idea is clearly to insert a door frame somewhere here. It's not really straightforward though, and nothing ever is it? I've got to come out at the bottom to overlap this bottom frame slightly so that it's flush with the front. Same thing at the top. I've got to get flush with the front so that that's one straight run of plastic all the way down to the floor. Figure out the width. I'm guessing just overlap the raised bed, or the edge of the raised bed here, but it's not going to be straightforward, not by any means. I've got to somehow fill that gap so that it's flush at the front, and of course I need to have some kind of support for the frame from each side as well as top and bottom. So let me play with the tape measure and the wood, and I'll rough cut some lengths just to see how it's going to fit, and I'll keep you posted. Well, there's a lot of strange angles on this, because I've got to cut out for the bottom piece, cut out for the top piece of the frame, and it's at a sloping angle as well. So let's take a little look. But it fits. I guess we just need to check the level. Just to come in a little bit, which is good because it means it's putting pressure on the frame slightly. In at the bottom, in at the top. There we go. So let's grab the camera off the tripod and you can see what I'm up to. So we've got a cutout at the bottom, so it just comes over the frame, still touches the bottom, the sleeper, but it fits snugly in, and it just comes flush, don't know if you'll see that, with the front of the frame. And then similarly up here it slots in, I'm hoping you can see that, under the frame, just flush with the top again, and it slopes slightly down. You can't see it on this top piece because I've cut the inside to slope down slightly. So that's in and flush. So that's the first side of the frame in, if it focuses. Come on, focus. So I just need one on this side, and then I've got to figure out how to brace it across, and I'll probably put some little cross braces in at the bottom as well. I've got some steel brackets, and you'll see those going in shortly, just to hold it firmly to the sleeper. Not sure what to do at the top. I don't really want anything going over the top because it'll rub against the plastic sheeting. So I'm hoping with a bit of cross bracing that should be sufficient, as long as it's anchored at the bottom and held to the side. Eventually there'll be a brace across the middle which will strengthen the whole structure. But anyway, less talking, more cutting. There's always something in the way. Right, that should, if I brace it on both sides, be sufficient to hold it firmly to the floor, or should I say this railway sleeper. Look at that, there's a bumblebee. It's not one of mine. Slight flaw in the plan. I'm going to need a short stubby screwdriver to get into this side because I can't get in because of the raised bed frame. But we live and learn. Well, just in case you thought I'd put that on the too difficult pile, clearly not. I did get a little stubby screwdriver out, and just to double check, there we go. If it focuses, super job. Just the other side to do now. Well, that's the second one in. Just need to level it up under the frame. I've got some little webbing straps I'll loop over the top just to hold them in place on the frame until I get the rest of the framework in. So, good job done. Ooh, that took longer than I thought it was going to, but then again, it always does. Well, the framing out's starting to take shape. These frames are screwed to the bottom and they overlap that bottom runner. I've got a metal brace in, bolted to the polytunnel frame and then into the frame of the door. Same on the other side, onto the frame, and then inside I've managed to get a pipe clip over the top of there onto a piece of wood and just bolted through. Put the top frame in for the door and then screwed this to that plate so that's not going anywhere. So that now attaches to the centre frame of the polytunnel, supported on both sides, and likewise supported at the sides here. So all in all, I'm quite pleased with it. It's starting to look like a door frame. I'll not get the door done today because as usual time's just flying by. I had to nip out for a couple of hours to do a little job away from the land, so I've just spent the last half hour or so putting those side braces in and fiddling around with that top frame, but it's looking quite good now. Very pleased. Apologies for the the lack of video clips. I got distracted. I got that focused on making this damn door. I got halfway through it and I thought, oh, I've not took a video clip. So I'm busy just stapling some old plastic sheet off the old polytunnel. I just cut a chunk out. I've trimmed it to size and I'm just busy stapling it down with the staple gun. So I've got 3 sides left to do, and then hopefully you'll see the finished article. Well, it's been a warm afternoon. I certainly didn't need hat and jacket this afternoon. We're just about there. The framing's in. Looking good. The door's constructed. Equally looking good. All I need to do now is get the door into the frame. But not today. I need to be very careful when I do this, and once I start there's no turning back, because I'm going to be cutting the new polytunnel. So I've got to be exact. I'll need to pull the roller door down, zip it up, and then cut out the frame with enough to just wrap around and staple in place to hold it. And then once I've done that, I can then mount the door. Need to figure a way of securing the door, some kind of bolt or hook and eye or something, I don't know yet. Until I get the door on, I don't know what I've got to play with. I might need to put some additional wood down the side of this frame to latch onto. I don't know. I'll find out once I get the door on. But that'll not be today, it'll be tomorrow. So I need to tidy up. I've got the old polytunnel cover there that I'll cut a piece out for that door. Got to sort that out. Got to sort the polytunnel out. The cabin, as usual, is strewn with tools where I've been working on the door inside, so I need to tidy up in there. Chickens are all done. They're just having a little bit of a sunbathe. They've been very quiet today. Not really heard much from them at all. The odd bit of crowing from the cockerel shouting at next door's cockerel, but other than that they've been okay. I'll give them a bit of an extra treat tomorrow to make up for neglecting them today. Anyway, let me get tidied up, and it'll soon be time to go home. Well, that's everything locked up as usual. Run out of time, but hopefully tomorrow I'll get that finished. Frame's in, looks nice, looks real nice. Just need to get the scary bit done tomorrow, cut the plastic around the door frame and then install the door. Just not enough time, never is. Anyway, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you're staying safe and well, and do enjoy your weekend, and hopefully I'll catch up with you for the finale of the polytunnel door tomorrow. Watch this space.